So, dear Dhamma practitioners, this is our ongoing meditation session. And be comfortable yourself and relax your body. So once we get connected with our other network, we're ready to start the session for today. Okay, so dear Dhamma practitioners, be comfortable yourself and relax your body. And keep your back straight, neck head straight in one line, and your right palm on your left. So gently close your eyes and bring your attention to this bell sound. And while you're focusing to the sound, mentally relax your body, relax your mind, and relax your breathing with your thoughts. So do nothing extra. Just follow the sound, please. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Exalted One, the fully enlightened one. So, dear Dhamma practitioners, in these ongoing meditation sessions, we mainly try to share some basic information related to meditation practice, and with the purpose to give you an opportunity to practice yourself and develop a very clear, good spiritual foundation. Because most of time we hear people practice things, and especially they practice meditation, and they don't know why they do this, and they have no idea how to do that things. And sometimes people think, so meditation means just closing eyes and sitting in a kind of like unmovable posture is meditation. Or maybe sometimes some people think meditation means when we have an idea, we keep thinking about it. So today we are going to talk about a little bit, according to the Buddhism, what it means by mindfulness and how you can develop it, and what is the meaning of meditation. So it is very important to go back to the very basic level and understand the very meaning of the word, because otherwise we may misunderstand and maybe we start to do something different. So when it comes to meditation, there is a word called sati, that is the Pali word. So this Pali word came from kind of like a Sanskrit word called smriti. So the smriti means the memorizing, remembering. like a chanting, like a Vedas in the Sanskrit, that the ancient time they had the Vedas, this knowledge, and during that time they used to memorize it, and they orally used to keep practicing, chanting it. So chanting helped for them to memorize. And so by the time, this became a kind of like a mental quality. So how much you can memorize. So even when it comes to the Buddhism, that a lot of sutras we have. So the Buddha's teaching. So sometimes you need to remember the sutras. So as monks, we do chanting and memorizing. So we also have that tradition. But when it comes to meditation, in that meditation also sometimes this mindfulness explained as memory, remembering, memorizing. So what is the difference? So it is important for us to understand this. So when it comes to the very purpose of tranquility meditation, it's develop the tranquility state of the mind and having undisturbed mind, and at the same time developing a very solid, unmovable clarity within the moment of experience is very necessary. So in tranquility meditation, that is what we develop. So in another way, it explains what is the tranquility meditation: non-judgmental, present, focus, awareness. So within your moment of experience, you develop the awareness without judging. So this is very important, non-judgmental. So to judge here in the conventional level, you have to compare. So this means you have to have comparison. So to compare to what? So the moment of experience, sometimes you compare to past. So that is where sometimes the another thing called the memory. So always that's this, we compare it to memory in our conventional life. And most of time, our conventional knowledge also depend on the memory. So what you memorize, remembered, is important for your day-to-day activities. But what is the difference between the meditation and memorizing things? Because when it comes to the meditation or mindfulness practice, you can't put the effort to remember things. It is totally different effort. So when it comes to that, there are two kinds of memory. One is called skillful memory, and another one called unskillful memory. So what is the skillful memory? So that is what related to meditation. So this is whatever in the present moment, when you engage with that moment with the conscious decision, so then you know what you are doing. So as example, when you sit for meditation, you take a very conscious decision to practice. So once you sit for that, and then you know you are practicing meditation. So that is a kind of like a memory. So that again and again, you know, you sit for meditation. And then while you are practicing, what happens? Whatever happened in the past start to come to your mind. So that also memory. So then sometimes your mind start to go to your past. And sometimes past memory come and start to disturb to the present moment. So that also memory, that is called unskillful memory. Why? Because it affects for your primary mental decision. So the primary mental decision means in the very moment, whatever the decision you do, your conscious decision. So if you are capable to be in the conscious decision, for that also you need the memory. You have to remember. Because once you close your eyes, you know you practice meditation again and again. So when the mind goes somewhere, when the mind goes with unskillful memory, then you have to remember that you have to have some memory related to what you practice. Because when the mind goes somewhere, to bring it back, you need to remember, oh, I remember I practice meditation. So that memory is not related to something you memorize. Like when you are driving, you remember you are driving. And sometimes when you do something else, or maybe you are talking to somebody else or looking here and there, sometimes whoever next to you, they mention, hey, remember you are driving. So that's mean what? That means you come to your present moment. So that is a moment by moment awareness you related to your moment of action and keep knowing it. So that is very necessary. So otherwise, that whatever that happened in the past, if you try to remember it and you try to practice meditation, then it is two different things. Because your mind doesn't have capacity to do two things at once. In the deeper level, your mind interferes with only one thing at one time. So then if you try to memorize something, you have to lose the present moment of experience. And then what you need to do, you slowly tune to the present moment of experience and stay knowingly again and again. So that will help you detach from the whatever happened in the past. So then how you can practice this in day-to-day life? So that's why whatever you do is, as example, when you are cooking, so if maybe you thinking about something or you talking to somebody, you can do still things, and then you forget that what you are keep doing. So when the mind come back to the present moment of activity, that is to come back, you need the memory. You have to remember, oh, I am cooking. So you then come back. And maybe you are cleaning. So while you are cleaning, maybe your some kind of past memory can take you to somewhere. And then you keep thinking about something, and then you get lost there and you forget that what you are keep doing. So then you suddenly you remember what you keep doing. So that remembering here means what? You recognizing your present moment of action. So that is here. When it comes to meditation, sati means that is one thing. So you have to remember then, whatever you keep doing, if you are capable to know, and if you are capable to knowingly do it, that is a way that you can develop your mindfulness for a certain level. Not the 100%, but when it comes to tranquility level, this is important. So then in day-to-day life, how you can develop it? So whatever the action that you take, there are three actions: bodily action, verbal action, and mental action. So whatever the action you perform, if you are capable to do it knowingly and without getting lost in the past or the future, if you are capable to tune to the present moment of action, and that is a way that you can develop the sati. Once you do this, then what happened? It's become a skillful memory. So then what happened? After you've done that, you don't have any doubt about that action. So then you develop the clarity. Because when it comes to our life, the most of time, the doubt about our own action become a hindrance to our success. Spiritual success and as well as for the conventional success. So now you are capable to get out of this doubt. Why? Because you know what you did. You know how you did. You know what happened during that time. So it develops the clarity. And when that clarity becomes strong and clear, within inside you what happened, you are capable to recognize and see when you become mindful and do any action during that time, that action becomes successful. So then you know any failure or any unsuccess happens not because most of time this outside things. It happened because of according to the condition of our mind. So by practicing now you know that. So that will help you again and again to be mindful when you do something. So that is why you recognize mind is the forerunner. Mind is the chief. Mind is the creator. Because now you see, according to the condition of the mind, the result, the outcome can change. And then little by little, deeply you can go into the very bottom level and see the causation, cause and effect, causality. And then when something happens, it is not just the one thing, it has many reasons. So in that way, that the moment of experience itself, release from grasping, holding anything as one thing or one experience. And again, you start to become very careful and watch the condition of mind. Why? Because you know that is the most important thing. So you can achieve to this level only by practice. Even though only practice point of view, we talk about this, by reading with just the conventional knowledge, you can't gain this experience. When you use the mind, when you see the mind, that is where you see, you recognize, you understand how this mind affects for our day-to-day life. And then what happens? You become mindful. So mindful regarding what? Mindful about any action. So that mindfulness, so that not about something that you focus to outside, again and again, you look into you, you take care, you become aware about the mind, how the behavior of the mind, the condition of the mind. So then when the mind is kind of like not clear, when the mind unbalanced, when the mind angry, sad, worried, disappointed, and happy, too much happy, and when the mind go overflow with the satisfaction, then you become very careful. Because why? Because in that very level, whatever the perception that you perceive, you can't recognize clearly. So then with that unclear mind, if you interfere into any action, and it's going to become some kind of problem. So this skill, developing this skill again and again, knowingly yourself, is the one way that you practice meditation. And so then rather than hold it to memory, so rather than trying to memorize something, rather than repeating the memory, if you are capable to follow your conscious decision and know your conscious decision, remember your conscious decision, then you will see. So then when it comes to day-to-day life, so whatever you go to work, then you remember what the work you have to do. So that is memory. So that is sati. So that is very necessary for your conventional success. Husband, wife. So sometimes if the husband forget this is my wife, and then what will happen? If the wife forget this is my husband, so then what will happen? So the sati, that is important for in the very conventional life to remember who you are, and at the same time, around you, your environment, and the children, parents. If the children know this is these are my parents, if the parents know this is my children, so that understanding is again and again take you to the present moment, and at the same time, it will help you to maintain very comfortable conventional lifestyle. And even when you're going to do kind of like a very dangerous thing, if you know it is very dangerous, what will happen? That become a kind of like a mindfulness about the moment. So then it will help you to protect you from that any danger. But sometimes you try to do very dangerous thing. So while you are doing it, what happened? You forget how dangerous it is. And then you lose your mind. Your mind start to caught up with something, and then you forget the moment. The very recently that this Hong Kong, that there was a very world famous this guy that he has like 1 million followers on TikTok. He climbed to very high rise buildings and then jumping and taking pictures. So this very young guy, and he climbed to one of the highest building in Hong Kong and was trying to take a selfie. And what happened? He forget where he was, and he fell down and he died. See that? Maybe you reach to a level, sometimes you forget who you are, where you are. And that itself become the hindrance to your path. So whatever we do then, remember, sometimes we use all the machines, technology and tools, and sometimes the machines, they cannot understand, and they don't know this human behavior yet. Maybe in the future, maybe sometimes people will overcome this problem, but still, sometimes most of the machines cannot understand this human behavior, human consciousness. So then, and sometimes people interfere with the machines, and maybe they keep thinking about something, then suddenly the machine overtake the life. So then always remember then, so whatever you do, rather than thinking about something else, remember what you are keep doing. So that kind of like develop a very tranquility state of mind. So that is the very first level that you can develop this skillfulness with the memory. But how it can take to next level to develop your spiritual life, because in the conventional life, you can keep doing that. This is the key point. When the mind becomes sharp and clear, there is no way that you're going to do any unwholesome action. Even just imagine you into very unwholesome action in that very moment. If you become mindful, if the mind becomes very clear, you recognize it as an unwholesome action. So that is why it becomes a protection for you to not to go into any unwholesome activities, unprofitable activities. So then the mindfulness is kind of like become a guardian angel for you. When you become mindful out of your bodily, verbally, mentally action, you don't do any harm. When you are not mindful, anything can happen. It doesn't matter how much we train our mind, our body, our words. If you are not mindful, anything can happen. So that's why the being mindful is very necessary, because each and every moment is a very new moment. So don't trust yourself. Don't trust your memory. Don't trust your skills. Don't trust your husband or the wife or the children or the parents, brothers, sisters, friends, families, even the gurus, the teachers. Don't trust their skill. Because as you know, very skillful people make a lot of mistakes in the world. And just this formula, cars, sometimes they are very trained people to drive very fast. How many times they die while they are driving? Just imagine this, this motorcycle race. And they are very skillful people to drive that even come to that level, to the kind of like this higher level of rank. They have to go through many practice. But still, when they come to that level, they can make a lot of mistakes. And recently, that this Cricket World Cup, this female Cricket World Cup, that Indian captain, so she's the captain of the team. And then the umpire gave the out. And she lost her mind and she threw the bat to the wicket and blaming to the umpire. And see, this is the World Cup and she is the captain of the team. But when something happened, she loses her mind. So that is what happened. Even any sport, any field, it doesn't matter how skillful you are. What the mistake we do, when we train so much, when we practice so much, when we know, oh, I can do this better, we start to trust our practice, not the mind. So we lose our mind and hold it to the habitual pattern. Then anything can happen. So that's why being mindful is very necessary. It doesn't matter whatever the level you reach. It doesn't matter you live with your husband and the wife many years, 10 years, 20 years. Don't lose your mindfulness. Don't trust your habit. It can destroy you. It doesn't matter this is your child. Don't trust their habits. You have to be mindful. Otherwise, it can take you to a very difficult situation. So everything, saying whatever we do from morning to night, So how many people fell down on their own bathroom? At home, 10 years, 20 years, they used to go to that bathroom. And that is where sometimes they fell down and broke the legs, hip, shoulders, and sometimes some people hit the head and died. Why this happen like that? Because it is one of the most familiar place. But when the place become familiar, you don't think about it. So you lose your mind. You start to think about, oh, I know how to do that. I know what to do. Then you make mistakes. And the most of accident happen on neighborhood. Why? Because maybe if you don't know, if you go to unknown place, you become very careful. But in your neighborhood, you don't care. Why? Every day you used to go, and then while you are driving, you start to keep thinking about something else. And then you get hit. So that's, I always remember, the world always give you an opportunity to experience a very brand new moment each and every day. So don't repeat your habit for that. It doesn't work. It's not valid for you. Your habit doesn't valid for your tomorrow. Only thing you can be, bring your mindfulness. And again and again, again and again, be fresh, be very clear, be mindful. As a new person, accept the new day. So in that way, wherever you go, whatever you do, then it always keep you aware what is happening there. If you talk to your husband or the wife or the friends or the children or brothers, sisters, every day as a kind of like a new person, your communication going to become a little bit different. Think about it. Most of time you talk to other person, it's not the person, you talk to the memory, not the person, because it's a new person. And every day when you cook, if you recognize this is a kind of like a very new menu that you try to cook, and then it's going to become different. So like that, this memory and memorizing and repeating memory, live with memory and remembering, this all is kind of like a tangle, it's like a puzzle. So out of this all, developing mindfulness is a very, very sharp skill. Because otherwise we can get familiar with our behavior, our thoughts, our environment, and we get lost there. So that's why the mindfulness in the beginning, to know yourself in the moment, whatever your conscious decision, merge with that again and again, again and again, is kind of like a memory, allow you to know where you are and what you do. So try to develop that, be with that. So then by the time, what will happen? It will take you to certain level to understand things very clearly. So that is what we call, in the tranquility state, allow you to see things as it is. Why? Because now your mental formation, your memory doesn't interfere for your present moment of experience. So in that very level, you see things very clearly, and at the same time, your mind becomes so sharp and clear. And again, you are capable to be in the present moment. So that will help you to go a little bit more deeper. And that is where you see whatever you experience, moment by moment, it's all change. The outside object change, experiencer also change. So when this both change, I change, I object change, and I consciousness change. This ear moment by change, ear object, the sound change, and the ear consciousness change. Nose, this nose moment by moment change, and the nose object, aroma or the smell change. And out of this both, nose consciousness change. This tongue moment by moment change. Morning, that whatever the tongue that you had, it's not going to be in the evening. So whatever, when you go to sleep, so whatever the tongue you brush and clean, and when you wake up and look, it's going to be totally different. So this tongue always change, tongue object, whatever the taste of the food, that also change. And out of this both, tongue consciousness arise, that also moment by moment change. This body, head to toes, always change. There's no any solid, permanent, unchangeable, any single subatomic particle going to be in this body. This kind of like a flux. It's always, it's kind of like a water. It's flowing. It's kind of like clouds. Your body not going to be the same every day. Every day it's change. And whatever the things in the body object, so whatever the outside, that another person or another thing and touch this body, that also change. And out of that touch, the body consciousness arise. And that also change. There is no consciousness, that any consciousness going to repeat the same way. Again and again, it change. This life is kind of like a one-way journey. There's no repetition. There is no repeat in the conscious level what you experience. So the mind, the brain, and also all this nerve system, that change. And the mind object thought change. And out of that mind consciousness arise, that also change. So then just imagine them, moment by moment. Eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. Eye object, ear object, nose object, tongue object, body object, mind object. And out of that all, the consciousness arise. Eye consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, body consciousness, mind consciousness. That all moment by moment change. So out of changeable consciousness, there is no permanent soul or self going to arise. There is no solid, concrete, unchangeable experiencer going to be inside. Because this experiencer arises out of the consciousness. When there's no consciousness, no experiencer. So when you mean by I am, or the self, or the me, or my, you come with the changeable consciousness to experience that. So when everything changes, and out of changeable experience, there is no unchangeable something going to arise. There's no way. So this simple truth is in front of your nose. You can't see it. The truth, the universe, the reality is not far away from you. Everything in your life already there in front of you. But most of the time, you can't see it. It's not even this only the spiritual liberation. The love, compassion, empathy, generosity, that everything in front of you. Sometimes you can't see that. And sometimes, you look somebody far away and you have a dream land somewhere to go and to be with somebody. You're dreaming. But most love were people around you. And they sacrifice a lot for you. And they give up everything and be around you, but you don't see them. So this deeper spiritual recognition take you back to understand the reality of this conventional life. So that is the beauty of this spiritual journey, because when you recognize this spiritual that the transformation through the practice, and in this conventional life, you start to see that unknown truth, that whatever already exists there. And that is where you recognize your husband, your wife, your children, friends, families, brothers, sisters, and the deeper connection with them. Because otherwise, sometimes we have our own thing in our head. We go behind that dreams and we don't see that. So, but once you see this truth in front of you, then you recognize everything around you. So once you see that, you are so comfortable with your life, you not look for something somewhere. And that you itself, it develop your contentment, satisfaction, your fullness, because everything already there within you. And then once you know that, there is no desire to become, because you already became. So it's kind of like, that's why sometimes when you try to do something, we start from the ending point. So our ending point is the beginning point of most of time in our life things. So then once you recognize that, you most of time you withdraw from the desire. There's nothing to look. There's nothing to gain. There's nothing to go behind. There's nothing to resist, because everything there within you, around you. And then it's the fullness. One single moment, if you experience that, then you drop this running horse inside your mind. And then that itself becomes the liberation for you, transformation for you to end this journey. Because otherwise, we keep running and we don't know where we go. Honestly, we don't know what we want. But still, we accelerate again and again and again this race. No point. So this simple truth you can gain when you become mindful. Intellectually, you can't get this. Don't try that. Don't try to quote up on the words that you hear. It's not good, because when you wake up tomorrow, it's going to disappear. Get some experience through you. Push yourself to gain the experience. Practice it. Practice again and again, again and again. Look into your mind. Look into your mind. When the mind go here and there, bring it back. Wherever you are, be there. Again and again, again and again. So by the time you recognize, more than in your dream state, the moment of reality, that what you experience is so comfortable for you. That is where your journey going to end. So with that, let's get into practice a little bit now. So your right palm on your left and make it straight in one line, and be comfortable with your posture. So bring attention to your body and scan head to toes yourself and say Sopateva, or may I be well and happy 3 times. Take a moment and think. We gathered here in this moment to practice this ancient meditation technique. All the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and achieved wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge. In this moment with this sitting, may my body become more comfortable, may my breath be more smooth, may no difficulties come to me, may all the success come to me. Also think for a moment, this is the last moment we're spending in this very lifetime, and detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment, observing the sensation of your inhalation and exhalation. So you have to be mindful to your breathing. And when the mind go here and there, again and again, remembering your breathing and come back to your breathing is your mindfulness practice. So in the beginning, deeply and gently, breathe in, breathe out 3 times and find the sensation, please. And allow your inhalations, exhalations happen itself. So when it happens through the sensation, recognize it, do nothing extra. Bring my attention to your body, please. Observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through entire your compound, village, city, state, country, world, around this universe. Also as far as you can through galaxies, other planets, stars. Reminding yourself like this. With clear intention, mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe. And may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart. Forward, visualize yourself and send it as the light. Your backside, to your left side, and to your right side. Downward, and upward. To all 6 directions at once. Like the moon, the sun, spread the light, spread the energy without any condition, without any limitation, without any resistance or without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it, with the maximum effort to the highest. Wishing yourself, may all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So first of all, we offer this practice to the great qualities of the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. Also, by the power of this meritorious deed, may all of us attain to the supreme bliss of Nibbana. May all your guardian angels and deities will receive these merits and increase their longevity and protect all of you from any kind of planetary influences or any ill effects. Ittavata chammi sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya imaya dhammanu dhamma patipattiya buddham pujemi dhammam pujemi sangham pujemi Attaya imaya patipattiya jati jara vyadi maranam paribunjisami idamme punya kammang asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamuncatu. Bless you.